Good morning, children. In the last part of video for chapter number 12, we have seen that there are different agricultural seasons. Even we have seen as per the seasons crops are grown. And we have even seen different methods of agriculture is being followed in our country. That is traditional methods and modern methods. And what all improvement had took place in these many time in the part of agricultural field. Now, today we're going to proceed further with the explanation related to how the crops are being protected, how the grains are being stored, and who all took initiative to bring green revolution in our country. So, let's begin with the explanation. So, we are going to see how the crops are being protected, how the grains are being stored, food storage and conservation of environment, that is very important, the green revolution, food security, that which all laws were being implemented to provide a security to food, agricultural assistance program for farmers to guide them in a proper way that how agricultural work can be done. Now, it is very important that when the crops are grown, they need to be preserved it properly. That is, in the farm, their should be taken it in a proper way. So, how the crop should be protected and who all can attack on crops. So, disease and pests can attack on crops, and because of this, the whole field can get damaged, and the yield that is ready for cutting may not be suitable or may not get that much income source what is required. So, as a remedy, what we can do, we can use insecticides and pesticides, or we can use some chemicals that can be rubbed on the seeds before sowing the crops. So, what will happen if we use these methods? Then we can protect our crops, and definitely we can have a good yield of production that can help for a better income source for the farmers. We have seen that which all methods are being followed in agriculture, how the crops are being protected, which all seeds are being used, and which are the modern methods that are being used in agriculture to have a good yield of production, and that can be sent to the market for selling it in a higher rate, and a farmer can earn a good income of source from the yield of production that has been ready in the farm. Now, these everything steps require a certain amount of time. When everything is getting ready, then the next step is that how you're going to store these grains. When the crops are ready to cut, it is very important that these grains should be preserved in a proper way, then only it can reach to the market. So, storing of these harvested crops is very important. And if we are storing it in a proper way, then automatically our production is going to get increased. So, what all steps should be taken for this purpose is that the grain should be dried well in the sun, and after drying it, it should be filled in a sacks. Properly, the sack should be covered and it should be packed. The sacks and then the stocked in the house, or after selling in a warehouses or shops, it should be preserved in a proper way. The grains which are stored can get damaged in two ways. That is, sometimes mice, rats, and insects can spoil the grain to a great extent by eating them by throwing here and there. Other than that, the grains can also get affected when it is kept in a closed and damp places. It catches fungus and becomes unfit for eating. That is, if the place is wet or if it is damp and proper ventilation is not there, then there are chances that the grains can get fungus and which may not be suitable to sell in the market. Automatically, the income source of the farmers get reduced and the grains may not be suitable for eating to anyone. So they are being thrown. So the grains get wasted. To prevent the grains by the damage of pests, some chemicals can be sprayed at the places where the grains are being stored or near the places where the grains are being kept. Other than that, neem leaves can also be mixed in the grain as they are one of the repellent to protect from the insects. So some protective chemicals that can be mixed with the grain are also available in the market. So these chemicals, which are organic in nature, can help the grains to get attacked from pests or having fungus on it. Their smell repels insects. So insects may not attack on the grains and grains can be preserved at the stored places. Storage places are always kept dry and airy to prevent fungus formation. So the place where the grains have been stored, the place should be dry. It should be airy. Proper ventilation should be there so that fungus should not attack on the grains and can be stored and preserved for a longer duration. Now food is a requirement of every living world. So food need to be stored at a proper place. And we should see that we are not harming the environment. So like humans, other living things also store food. And each of them has a different way of doing it. Though it may be an insect, it may be animal, bird. So insects like ants store food. Bees collect nectar from flowers and store it in a honeycomb in the form of honey. Squirrel store seeds. Because these animals store food, it is available to them when they need it. Because as they are not available to come out from their shelters in different seasons. So storage of food help them to keep survive them for a longer period of time during such circumstances. So when it is not available, they utilize the stored grain that is kept with them. As we all know that plants are preparing their food by themselves with the help of the process known as photosynthesis. We know that plants intake carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen, and plants prepare their food with the help of sunlight, availability of water, dead plants and animals that decomposes in the soil. So all the times plants are busy producing the food they need. Even so, there are some plants that they store the food and keep it. You are familiar with the bulbs of plants such as onions and garlic and tubers such as potato, ginger, etc. Now you must be aware that some are creepers, some are climbers and some are tubers. So they store the food and keep it for a longer period of time for their growth. They all are parts of the stem of the plants. So they store food where plants store food in the stems. So the growth of plants, we know that it takes with the help of roots, but they store the food for its growth in stems. Radishes, sweet potatoes, beetroots are the roots of their plants. These are the underground vegetables. So they are the roots of the plants. These plants store food in their stem. So they store the foods in their stem or either in the roots. We too store food as per our requirements, as per our needs in our houses. So, as per the requirement of every human being, we store food in our home. In India, due to the improved methods of cultivation, we now produce plenty of food grains. And as per the requirement of the growing population, the needs and the requirements are being fulfilled by agricultural producers, that is, the farmers. The production exceeds the demand. That is, as per the required production, the demand also increases. When we are saying that India is a populated country, and it is very important that everyone's requirements are being fulfilled. So as the production is increasing, its demand is also increasing. The surplus food grain that is being stored in the huge warehouses are being used as per the requirement, and they are available to us throughout the year. Sometimes the crop is ready and it is near about to harvest. But due to some natural disasters, the crop gets damaged. The production gets affected. Like disasters such as floods, where heavy rain is there. Droughts, where no rainfall is there. Sometimes cyclones are there and hailstorm is there. So, because of such natural disasters, the yield that is ready to cut may get affected. At such time, the stored surplus grain can be used for the people. The stored grains that are kept in granaries can be used and can be provided to the people who got affected because of these natural disasters. So, it can also be used for people displaced due to disasters like an earthquake. Because of an earthquake, many get affected, their life and property as well. So, at such time, these stored grains are helpful for the people to provide them food for their survival, for their living. The Green Revolution. The green word represents prosperity. You all are aware that our national flag is with tricolor, and in it also we are having green color, which represents greenery, prosperity in our country. Today our country is self-reliant as far as production of food grain is concerned. That is, India is the most agriculturalist country and the primary occupation of our country is agriculture. We are self reliant and we are capable to have ample of food grain, which helps us to gain our economic also. So, we are also able to export the surplus grain. That is, the grain which is produced, it helps us to export these grains and earn an economic income for our country, which is utilized for public welfare. So, this tremendous increase in food grain production in our country was achieved due to Green Revolution in our country. That is, Green Revolution represents greenery, and greenery is related to farming. It was brought about by the joint efforts of scientists, people working for the spread of science, and farmers, who had helped the farmers to increase their yield of production and pay more attention towards farming. This was done with the help of scientists. A team of scientists guided, and accordingly, science helped their farmers to increase their productivity. The credit for the research that led to improvement in the seeds of wheat and rice that resulted in Green Revolution. And India, it goes to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Because of his great effort, we found that India became a leading exporter of wheat and rice. And because of this, only everywhere greenery, the farm of wheat and rice were produced. Food security. Food is a basic need of every human being. Many countries had took initiative to make laws related to food, and it had ensured that every person should get sufficient amount of food as per their requirement. These laws are known as food security laws, and even our country, India, had also started food security law in the year 2013. It has made it possible to fight ills like malnutrition, starvation, and deaths due to hunger. That is, these all disease or these all ills are getting because of the shortage of food, or a body doesn't get a required amount of nourished diet, so automatically the person suffers. So if the body doesn't get a proper nourished diet, the body suffers and person may die, and this has increased because of the less amount of food in the body. A law was implemented even in country, and it had stated that everyone should get a basic requirement, that is food, as it is a basic necessity of every human being. Agricultural Assistance Program. These programs are started for farmers to provide them guidance about agricultural work, that how they can use improved methods for irrigation, for agriculture, how a good quality of seeds can help to increase the productivity in the farm. Latest technologies are being used in farming, as well as a good organic fertilizer, which help for organic farming to get a good organic crops in nature, and even use of pesticides in a proper amount so that farms cannot get affected. Unnecessary use of chemicals can affect the farm. So a proper training is provided by the trainers to the farmers related to agricultural work. Along with the training, they also get information about weather forecast and other agriculture related information from these assistance center. In addition, agricultural schools have been also started for farmers to provide them actual guidance at how the farming can take place with the help of modern methods. Members of a farmer's family can learn about new technology at these schools, providing them a proper assistance to do the farming in a simple and easy manner. There are committees who arranges exhibitions and seminars for the farmers. So they are agricultural produce marketing committees who provide knowledge to the farmers through exhibitions and seminars. In these exhibitions, they provide them the knowledge about the various methods of seeds that can be used for farming, organic methods of agriculture, use of equipments, modern methods of irrigation, and so on. The agricultural department of the government, agricultural universities, televisions, newspapers, and various periodical works for the spread of modern methods of agriculture. So these are the different sources that is being used by government to provide knowledge to the farmers related to agricultural work. And nowadays, many are there who select the profession in the agricultural field. That is, they want to improve the methods of use of agricultural work that is being used in our country. So they take knowledge related to that. And even today, agriculture is the main occupation of our country. Programs are being shown on television to guide the farmers related to agricultural work. Even newspapers are being printed where they get the information that when their production is ready, how they can go and sell in the market and earn a good source of income from this production. As programs are being conducted by government to make farmers aware about the modern methods of agriculture, now farmers are using these methods of agriculture in the field to increase their productivity, and this helps them to gain a good income source for their family to meet up their requirements. And even the country is getting benefited because more and more number of crops are being exported to many other regions, which help to increase our economy not only in different regions but also is being exported to many other countries. Should always remember that crop should not be overwatered and it should be watered as much it is necessary. We should even take care that we are not using excessive amount of chemical fertilizers as it may decrease the fertility of soil and even the production can get hampered. Even more pesticides should not be used on the farm because the crops can get damaged and it should be avoided. So in this chapter we have studied that how crops are being grown, which all modern methods are being used in our country for agricultural purpose. Thank you for watching the video. Take care. Bye bye.